Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. My name is Mitch Pattinson, and as always, we are joined by Ethan Duffy. We had a bit of a day off yesterday, and we obviously had the weekend off, Duffy boy. So we've had a few days off now, Saturday, Sunday, and yesterday, obviously, we're doing this episode tonight on Tuesday night, and we just thought that we would update very quickly. We wanted to have the day off yesterday just because there wasn't a hell of a lot to really touch on. But today there was a hell of a lot of developments, not really from a Carlton point of view, but there is something substantial about Charlie Curnow and the Swans offer. So actually, before I do that, I'll throw straight to you, mate. How have you been the past few days? And you must be pretty knackered with how busy you've been with work. But how are you, mate, to start off with?
Yeah, it's been. Yeah, I'm quite happy that it's near the end of trade period. It's been fun with all the content at work and obviously content through our podcast. So yeah, it's been chock-a-block, and I'm looking forward to whatever tomorrow night brings with just the entire deadline day that they seem to love at the AFL. I feel like they just drag a lot of deals to the last day, so there's a bit of content so they can chuck on Continental tires or some bullshit on their streams, Fatto. But yeah, it's yesterday there was literally nothing. I'd say there was literally nothing involved. I know there was here and there, but nothing concrete. But today we will touch on what has been concrete, and that's the trade offer Chris Keane has put forward.
Yep. Just before we press record on this episode, we were speaking about Chris Keane once again making a bit of I don't even know why it's really about Chris Keane. In the end, I think that's probably what his objective was at the start of the period. Daffy boy to make sure that everyone knew about Chris Keane and his name. I just think at the end of the day, I think we all need to realise that the deal will get done. Unfortunately, I don't think Charlie Curnow will be a Carlton player, but I put the ticker on a little bit earlier. So sorry, I don't think you saw it, but I'm sure the people in the audience would have seen it. So I made a bit of a mistake there. But we'll go straight into the actual ticker, Daffy boy, and this is the trade that's been put forward from the Sydney Swans. So it's Will Hayward, Ollie Florent, pick 11, and the 2026 first round pick for Charlie Curnow and pick 22. So you could hear my voice how I was laughing a little bit about the pick 22. It is a bit outlandish from the Swans to ask for Curnow and pick 22. But I guess I do understand to an extent because they're two contracted players. I think they're both contracted both till 2029. So I know that Ollie is, but I don't know exactly about Will Hayward. Is that right? Are they both contracted until 2029, both of them?
Yes, they've both got 4 more years left on their deal. So it's almost, in my opinion, I've never seen a deal like it in terms of just the players that are contracted, and they're long-term Sydney players too. Like they're not, a 20-year-old kid or something like that. They're guys who've been there and been amongst premiership pushers.
Yeah. And I just think that's probably the reason why they are asking for a little bit more in return. I know that we spoke about it before. We pressed record on the episode as well, but how it is a little bit of a Hail Mary from a Swans point of view to ask for the P22, hoping that Carlton will accept it, but I don't think we will. But it does look like that the trade will most likely be something like this, and most likely Will Hayward and Ollie Florent will be a Carlton player, and Sydney and Charlie Curnow will be a Sydney player as well. And just I thought I'd also say that he obviously visited the Sydney headquarters yesterday. So that was very, very funny seeing that yesterday. We're probably contemplating coming on an episode for that, but I just think knowing that there would have been more developments today from that, we just thought that we would do it all in one, Daffy boy. But throw straight to you, mate. I know your thoughts on this whole scenario about Charlie Curnow visiting the headquarters of Sydney Swans and his little smirk when he was walking in with Dean Cox, and don't you worry about that. I think the way that he's acted is just unacceptable, and I don't think he's allowed back at the club. But more importantly about this trade, what are your thoughts overall?
Yeah, it's first of all, I'll get it out of the way with the whole Curnow thing. We went back and forth about it last night. I've spoken to people at work about it. It's just the whole situation. Like, there's leaving the club, and just the way he's done it is just incredibly poor. I don't want to go too hard on him because I think I've gone pretty hard on him the last probably couple of months, Pat. I know we both have in terms of just how he's dealt with it. I'm not a big fan of him rocking up and, going through the front door and just smiling and smirking while he is still a contracted Carlton player. Still a contracted Carlton player. I'm fine with you going, but just the way he did it was just like they may as well put the fucking red carpet out there for him.
Yeah.
And I also found it odd that the media knew that he was coming in at that time.
Odd.
His manager 100% has got on the phone to the head of Channel 9 in Sydney and gone, we're going to get here at 4. We'll be here at 4, so get ready for that. And once again, his manager in that whole situation, he's pretty much done everything for him because he's that gutless. He's that gutless that he had to go through that way. But yeah, we move on. And the deal, I think we've both pretty much, I think, been on top of how the deal would probably be worked out. I think we've said it. We said that exactly. Yeah. I think so. I know other people have. We're not saying we're the oracle and we're predicting stuff, days out. But it's a deal that I think we both were probably, I think, at a minimum that we would be okay. That's the deal we would take. And I think 95% of the deal is correct in my eyes. But yeah, the pick 22 was a bit of a surprise today. So, like you said, it's a Hail Mary from Sydney. I understand that, but yeah, like if you're getting pick 22, I think that cancels out a Hayward. So you know what I mean? It kind of he's probably worth a pick 22, but we shouldn't be having to give up that pick 22 because we're giving a player that they must get. They must get this player, otherwise they will not be winning the premiership next year. So, other than that, Pato, I think, like you said, 95% of the deal. The Hayward, Florent, pick 11, the future first next year, all good. It's just the weather of I'm fine with giving up. I think I've just looked at our draft hand at the moment. It'll be pick 54. I think that'll get it done as the giving it back to Sydney.
Yep. So Hayward, Florent, pick 11, 2026 first rounder for Curnow, and the pick 54, was it?
Yes. Yep. I reckon that'll be the deal unless they work out something with the Karmas situation, which seems to be dragging out. I think it has a bit of a link, Pato, just quietly.
Yeah, we will touch on that straight after, but a quick one as well. So is that something that you would be we spoke about it today, not like we would be happy about it, because I still think, as you said perfectly earlier on text message, I don't think we can win this trade either way.
No.
I just don't think there's a trade out there that we can realistically win. So now it's trying to get the best possible deal that we can somehow work out a way to get the deal done. And I think having Will Hayward and Ollie Florent a part of this deal and then pick 11 and 2026 first rounder, I still think it's a good trade. But I just still think it probably could be just Curnow alone. I really do. I really feel like that is enough. Well, not enough. I still feel like there's a little bit extra. I don't think Sydney should be playing too much more hardball on this. I think they should be
no.
They've got it.
Yeah.
So, but so I was going to say this earlier. I know you know about this because you know my thoughts, but I've woken up this morning and I have gotten a little bit just nervous about the whole situation, about realizing that there's not a single trade out there that we can accept that makes us think as Carlton supporters, okay, we have won this deal. So now I wanted to say my thoughts for this episode because I want to speak about it. But so I want to hear your thoughts about like what this could mean if we lose Charlie Curnow. So I'm looking at, and the reason why, I think yesterday, they did it on Trade Radio where they did a best 22 for next year. And I'm just hearing the names and I'm like, it doesn't look great on paper because there isn't Charlie Curnow in that forward line. And that was including Will Hayward in that forward line. I still think, and I know that there is a bit of silliness about it to an extent because I know that Hayward and Ainsworth probably combined is better than Charlie Curnow. I think those two players will be better. So let me rephrase. I think those two players will have more of an impact than only having Charlie Curnow in that forward line. I think both of those guys will just do their own thing and they will be better than what we would have next year if we just had Charlie Curnow alone. So But my thought is that I'm just looking at that forward line. I'm like, God, I am nervous that not seeing Charlie Curnow in that forward line. But maybe that is something that I just need to get over. So I want to hear your thoughts, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking the exact same as me.
Yeah,
there are some nerves heading into next year without Curnow, but you've been so adamant, and I've agreed. But today I've woken up and I'm like, fuck. So I want to hear your thoughts so I can kind of like, and also to the audience as well.
Yeah.
Hearing your thoughts about how, like, what your mindset is right now, knowing that probably most likely 99% Curnow will not be in the Navy Blue next year.
I completely understand your worriness, like your worriedness. Sorry, I'm not against that. I'm totally not against that. But I look at it as if. So I think I said a little bit just before we went on air about how I kind of see where we're going to go, like where we're going at the moment. And I've used the two words "new era." I think we're in a new era, and I'm not saying I want to get rid of everyone, but it's probably the right time. I think it's the right time to get the deal done in terms of value. Because if we hold on to another year, you look at Petrarca, you look at Oliver, you look at the distractions they had, heading into. I know you don't want to keep Curnow, but you want a good value, and I 100% get that. But when I look at this, and you said it well with Haywood and Ainsworth, and I look at that forward line that Trade Radio posted as well, and I analysed it about 50 times during work. Hopefully my boss isn't watching this. But I look at it as if it's a new era. The two forwards, the two big fellas, I'm not saying they couldn't work together, but they didn't. It didn't work however, probably from 22 to 25. There would have been a select amount of games and a select period of form. I'd say the 2024, that patch where we won about 6 games in a row, they were playing together. Yeah. Apart from that, I don't put together where they were together and they were both dominating. They're both dominating, and the team was dominating. Charlie would have kicked his 5s and his 6s, and Harry would have done it. But now I just look at it and I go, this is a new era now. I'm excited to see our different mix because it clearly wasn't working. And you look at our depth. So I'll talk about the forward depth. This is what I look at as well. Last year, we're relying on Charlie. Charlie wasn't playing well enough, and what happened? It completely just. I'm not saying he's going to have a year like that next year, but if we kept him and it happens again, you go, well, we had the chance to get Haywood, Ainsworth, and now they're gone. Ainsworth's gone Essendon. Haywood stayed at Sydney. And that doesn't happen. And we don't fill in the spots where Fogarty's and Will White's and Flynn Young's play. So I look at the deal and I love that there's 2 players involved. And what I love about it is, especially with Haywood, because I've always had a soft spot for him because I like the way he goes about it.
Yeah.
Him and Ainsworth play completely structured roles. And I'm not saying they're going to play unstructured totally at Carlton, but at Carlton, they're probably going to be able to use their talent to their ability a little bit more and free roam a little bit better. Whereas, Ainsworth, people are going, well, why are we getting Ainsworth? He's a 13 touch. He's averaging he's only kicked 28 goals this year. But you look at goal, he plays an unrewarded role at Gold Coast. Completely unrewarded role. You watch him play, Pato. He's getting the ball at 80 metres out and he's feeding it to King and he's feeding it to Ben Longs, who are deep inside 50. Same with Haywood. Their priorities forward of the ball are probably Heaney and Amadi and the big fellas. And he's, getting the scraps. And I know I'm not saying he's going to come out and play for Carlton and kick 78 goals, which I hope he does. But, I just look at it as it's a new era. And we've just got to let this Curnow thing go. I accepted it about a month ago because I didn't want to get hurt. I didn't want to get hurt. So, and I understand your point, and I'm sure a lot of people support your point because it's 100% valid. But I look at it now, it's like we've committed now. We're committed to these guys. We've brought in Ainsworth. We're going to bring in Karmas now, playing in defence. I know he's in defence. I know that's not the forward mix, but let's just focus, move forward, whether it's, we're in a bit of a reset mode where we might not play finals next year, but we will go again the next year with these guys. Or do we go play finals next year? I'm not sure, but I feel like they're all buying in. They're buying in these guys who are coming in, and hopefully Haywood and Florent buy in. And because clearly, I know I've rambled on a little bit, but Charlie wasn't buying in this year. That's just fact. That's just fact. So that's my thinking. He might have the talent, more talent than every single one of the guys we're going to bring in, of course. That's facts. But if you're not bought in, the talent only takes you so far.
So far. Yeah, they've always said that. Obviously, hard work outlays.
Absolutely. Look at Collingwood.
Exactly right, and that's all structure. But you said there about buying in, and also about a bit of a reset. So I don't know why. I don't know why I've woken up this morning, and I think it's just because, looking at the team on paper, I still think Brodie Kemp has a role to play next year. I really do.
Yep.
I still feel like he can be that forward player. I think a lot of the games, you look at the game against the Dogs, he kicked 4 or 5 goals.
Yep.
So and he's done that a few times. So I'm actually quite optimistic to see what Brodie Kemp will deliver.
Yep.
But I see it completely different to what other people see it. See Carlton in 2026 with us in a reset mode. And I know that you don't think that we're in a reset mode, maybe to an extent.
Yeah.
But I know that you don't think we aren't capable to make finals next year.
Yeah.
I think this list is more than capable to make finals next year. And that's what I'm saying. I feel like we are kind of giving in a little, because now we're giving Sydney the opportunity to win the flag next year, knowing that Curnow is pretty much replacing Will Hayward. They weren't using Ollie Florent. I'm just looking at it like, God, I don't feel like we are getting. I know that I've already said that we won't win the trade either way, but I feel like we're giving up so much more than we kind of need at the moment, because Michael Voss is heading into 2026 in his contract year. He needs a good season, and I'm just optimistic to see what we will deliver, knowing that Michael Voss can't cop any shit next year, or else he's gone. So it is a huge risk, and maybe that's what I'm thinking about. Where I'm like, now there's not that focal point heading into next year with Mackay and Curnow. I know that we've still got Mackay, but Mackay hasn't played without Curnow. Mackay has never played without Curnow, and I know Curnow's never played without Mackay. I still feel like Curnow needs Mackay more than Mackay needs Curnow.
Absolutely.
I mean, we saw 2021. He went on and won the Coleman. So I know that there is a lot of question marks around it, but there's a person called me Daffy Boy. Sorry,
Chris Kane.
Probably wouldn't be surprised. No, but I'm more looking at it as I am just nervous heading into next year. And so, what's your kind of percentage right now in your head heading into next year with Curnow? Sorry, with Carlton without Curnow. Are you happy heading into next year with our forward line? Because I know that you spoke about role players with Hayward and Ainsworth. What type of role would you want them to play next year?
Well, but they both have the ability to play kind of a few forward roles where you can play them deep. You can play. I see a Hayward, not saying he will be playing out of the goal square, but he has the ability to play out of the goal square, and he has the ability to play high half forward.
He's tall.
And I actually think, just first on Hayward, out of the two, Hayward is exactly what we've needed for 6-7 years. We speak about Fritsch. We speak about, those medium forwards. They're not smalls. They can take marks, but they're quick and they've got the size. He's exactly what we need. Clearly, we wanted him last year. We were both speaking about it, I think, just not on episode, but we're going, fuck yeah, that'd be nice.
Great. Yeah.
So it's worked out well for Carlton that, it's Sydney that Charlie's going to. But yeah, in terms of both their role, they can both play a number of roles. So whether you play a Motlop deeper, we've wanted him probably deeper, closer to goal. I think that's where he probably plays his best footy. I'd say Ainsworth can play that high half forward, but also can play deeper by the sounds of things. And we've seen Will Hayward do a bit of both. Play high half forward as a marking target. We don't have Charlie. So we've got to find different ways to score. And I said said yesterday about this. I know it's all about the skill of the players, but sometimes I know these guys have skill who haven't been able to kick this year. And you watch guys like Adam Sard butcher the footy sometimes, who's a beautiful kick at the football. If you do not have the two tools up forward, what do you have to do, Pato? What do you have to do?
Like, really like.
You almost have to force it.
Yeah.
You have to force it. And sometimes the chaos ball, not the high ball, but the chaos low dart, when you have a bit of a smaller forward line and you have Haywards who, I just picture it in my head. This is nuffy mode, but I picture Ainsworth and I picture Hayward picking the ball up off the deck, snapping a goal from 20. You know, those finishes, they're both finishes that we don't have. So they're ultimate upgrades on Fogarty's. They're upgrades on Motlop. Let's be real. At the moment, they're upgrades on Motlop of what they've shown compared to what he's shown. I hope he can improve. They're probably upgrades on Frank Evans, who had a great end of the season. So I think they can play numerous roles, but by the sounds of things with Ainsworth and what he's said, it seems like he'll be playing more of that genuine small forward goal kicker role, which he seems really happy about. So, and it seems like he hasn't had that opportunity. He's had the opportunity to play, but not in that role.
Yeah. Probably, I know we didn't want to go on too long for this video, but I just want to ask one more thing. So now we've kind of spoken about what the trade looks like and what it most likely will come to be at the end of tomorrow night. But if there is a scenario where we get to tomorrow night and the trade isn't done and Charlie Curnow is a Carlton player, I know I've asked this so many times.
Oh, God.
I am now on the side of I actually wouldn't be too mad about it if Curnow is a Carlton player. And Daff, seriously, is that so, silly of me to think about? Because I know how important culture is. I don't think Charlie Curnow is good for culture. I don't think the way that he's going about it right here, right now, visiting Sydney at 4 p.m. in the middle of Sydney.
Yeah.
Inviting all the journalists, and I completely agree. I'm sure the manager would have contacted them saying, make sure we get this on Channel 9 News, 6 p.m. so everyone can see.
Yep.
So Charlie can get even more publicity. But also I'm like, I don't know if I reckon it was that interview actually. I'm looking at that interview and I'm like, I don't want to lose this player. And I know it's silly, Daff. I know it's silly. So I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, it's like if this would be my thing, I don't know. I can't even think about it now.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so off the player right now, and I know the club is too. I do hear a lot of things about how the players have kind of reacted to the situation, and I think they've just a little bit off him as well. I'm not speaking on behalf of them, but I'm speaking on behalf of a Carlton fan at the moment, and the way he's treated this situation is just horrible. I know this is nothing to do with his ability, nothing to do with it, but I just think it would just be like he would have to win us the flag next year.
You've said that.
He would this is the only way. He would have to win the Coleman medal. He would have to win us the premiership for me to just go, yeah. Because if we don't, we lose out on two small forward. Well, no, obviously Ainsworth's there. But we lose out on Hayward, who could have been a good piece. I'm not saying Hayward's Charlie Curnow. But, and you lose out on the picks. It's going to make it harder for Walker. And if we don't win a premiership, it's a bit of a Collingwood situation. It is a bit of a Collingwood situation. They don't have that guy like Curnow. But if you hold on to him for another year and he has another drifty 40-goal year, Nick Austin will be fired. No doubt about it. No doubt in my mind. He'll be fired if he's kept. If they try to hard bargain him and try to get a hard ball, try to get Errol Goulden through the door, he'll be gone. There'll be questions asked. You can't tell me by round 10 next year if we have Curnow playing and we're 3-7, he will cop it as a individual. And I think it's too far gone. Today's comments after he is so gone from Carlton.
What comments? Charlie's comments?
His comments and he's laughing and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the comments from the Carlton faithful. We are the most important people with this club. I'm not saying me, I'm not saying you. As a collective, I think we've made the decision. As a football fan base, if he is there next year, I'll be ultra worried. I'll be panicking just because I know it's not about the on-field. It is about the media storm We've had too much of it over the last 3-4 years, which has cost us wins. It's cost us anything in the season. There will be, watch round 1, Pato. They will be talking about where he's going to land next year in 2027. If he performs badly, or if we perform badly. Oh, Carlton's holding him hostage. Oh no. And then next year, and then this time next year in the trade period, we'll be getting a fucking future third. So get him out now. Let's move on. We're in a new era. We've got the young kids coming in. Look at that last month of footy, Pato. It was a bit of fucking energy. We wanted to go to the footy the last month of the season because these guys who didn't want to fucking be there were gone. Silvani wasn't playing. I know Teddy K was playing, but like, it's just that it would just, it would infuriate me. And then it'd infuriate me more if he starts grabbing the jumper next year. That would just infuriate me more because you know how much he fucking grabs the jumper, Pato. For a guy who grabs the jumper every goal he kicks, even if it's his 10th against West Coast, he doesn't give a rat's ass about the monogram. You know what he worries about? There's 2 words. Charlie Curnow. That's what he worries about.
Yeah. I've got a quick question about that. And so we'll touch on Buku Khamis very quickly because I do want to speak about this Charlie Curnow situation. So obviously Buku Khamis, it looks to be like it will go down to the final day. So I don't think we'll really need to touch on too much about that. Probably in your last words later on, that's when you can speak about Buku Khamis, but I just thought that we would very quickly touch on that. But on Charlie Curnow, so what do you think would be worse? Because I do disagree to an extent with what you said then about heading into next year. If Charlie Curnow is still at the club and we're 3-7 at round 10, I feel like there would be a certain amount of like security because we've still got Charlie Curnow. But if we're heading to next year and we don't have Curnow, but we have Haywood and Ainsworth and Florin in that halfback flank or on the wing, but then we're 3-7. Like, what do you think would be worse? That situation with Curnow still being at the club, or 3-7 next year with Curnow out of the club dominating at Sydney, and we have Haywood, Ainsworth in our forward line and Florin on the wing?
It's a tough question.
It is tough. I know.
I don't think we'll be 3-7 next year.
I hope we're not.
That's my worry. That's my biggest worry either way. No, yeah, it is. My thinking is you have Charlie Curnow, which you could have got picks for. You could have got, so if he's still at the club, we're 3-7. We could have helped sort out our future with Walker, who's obviously the future of the Carlton Football Club. And maybe other picks that we could have gone to a Bailey Humphrey next year. So you're giving up that. If Curnow stays, none of that's happening. No big fish. No, harder to get Walker. We'll have to get rid of picks and move other picks each where, make it harder for ourselves. And then we're 3-7. You're almost sacrificed. I know we're in here for the win now, but I think we're also in a case where we've got to look at the next couple of years as well and how we sort that out. Maybe that's their thinking. Maybe we just build for the next year or so. I'm not sure. I would think the club would be more under the pump if the star forward was still there. If the star forward was still there, because they'd be going, he's holding him hostage. He doesn't want to play there. He should be kicking goals every week. Whereas if you've gone, look at our expectation for next year. People think we're going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Like if we don't have Charlie next year, people go, they'll be bottom 6, which we don't think. But external media will do it because they're lazy. So I don't know how to read on it, but I just feel like I'd rather be 3-7 knowing we've locked in future picks and we're going to lock in Cody Walker rather than be a little bit going, we're relying on one guy of our fortunes.
Yeah. Quick, I reckon we'll probably wrap this up within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But I've just got another question about that. I know I was asking about Zach Butters earlier on when it was probably a fantasy dream, Death Boy, that we were thinking that Zach Butters could be at the Carlton Football Club. But whether we were willing to risk Cody Walker for next year to secure Zach Butters this year. Now, I'm talking about a big fish. Would you consider Charlie Curnow a big fish?
Yes, I think so.
So we've got a big fish with Charlie Curnow. What do you think would be like? What do you think would be worse? Like, would you be willing to give up Cody Walker next year if Charlie Curnow is dominating next year?
Well, no, but but he's a player who doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
That's my big thing. He doesn't want to be there. Like, at his best, of course, I would take it 100 times every day.
Yep.
But he doesn't want to be there. The big factor for it's not the football. It's not the football. It's the person. He doesn't want to be there. He does not want to be there. He's been asked he hasn't said anything in the public. He's forced his way out. He's asked for a pay cut to go somewhere else, and he's not going to get a pay cut. He's just said that to force his way through. He doesn't want to be there. You know who wants to be there? Cody Walker wants to be there.
Yeah.
Harry Dean wants to be there. He said he wants to play round 1 next year. Charlie Curnow doesn't want to play round 1 for Carlton next year. Compare the pair. It's a talent, or do you want guys who want to compete and play for their spot and play for wins for Carlton Footy Club or play for themselves? I think Charlie's been a little bit of an inward player for probably the entirety of his career, I would say, a little bit. Not nothing to do with his ability and how he's performed, but it's a bit me, rather than us. Cripps is us, how he plays football, isn't he? 100%. Look at Charlie, grab the jumper, me, guns out, me. And it probably sounds like I'm a bit salty at the moment, but he always has been. That's just who he is as a player, and he'll do it at Sydney as well. Like, fuck yeah, I'm the man. And he is the man a lot of the time, Pato. So he probably has the credits to do so. Where if I rocked up to Sydney and played footy, I wouldn't be thinking I'm the man, because I'm not. But he is. So yeah, it's the care factor. I want to rock up round 1 next year, and Haywood's landing tackles. Is Charlie landing tackles?
Nope.
Is he fighting when Richmond, make a run at it in round 1 in the first quarter of the game, or when the going gets tough? Is he diving like Harry does for tackles? Is he taking grabs? Is he actually leading at the footy rather than wrestling? These are all the things that pop in my mind. It's all the Charlie bad moments of this season where I'm just sick and done with it, and we've just got to move on. Because if we turn into a good football club, we're not going to be going, imagine if Charlie was still there. We should be celebrating guys who want to be there. That's my thinking.
Yeah. That's
nothing to do with his ability. Once again, that'll be my final point. Nothing. He would be our best player if he's fit and firing and going. But we all go, why is that guy not? You see fans and they go, why is he not trying? Or not him, but sometimes him and other players. You go, why? He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah,
he doesn't give a shit. Whoever it is, and then some people are going, we should keep Curnow. Then that just contradicts that whole point. So you want to keep him because he's the star, so we'll just let him get away with half-assing it. But, guys like Cotters and guys work their ass off and they miss one kick and they cop it. Ollie Hollands, I think, is the clear example.
Yeah.
He is the clear example of this situation. Charlie comes up on the big screen, Pato. Everyone cheering. I'm fine with that. Ollie Hollands isn't getting that love. But he isn't sooking. He isn't rocking up on a bike to a fucking game. He's rolling up, doing his job, and he's takes the game on when he probably sometimes doesn't have the ability to do so, and cops it. Where Charlie does the bare minimum, and we cheer him. That's my final point on Charlie.
Yeah, I do agree.
Yeah,
but I also disagree, and we won't go on for too much longer because we will probably speak about this after the episode, as we always do, because we bloody absolute Carlton enough staffy boy. But one more question. Do you think the Curnow situation, we are being proactive or reactive? Honestly.
I think initially reactive. When you find out that he wants to go, because you have to be reactive. He's the one pushing this move. We aren't pushing the move, so we're not being proactive at all. But I also think, in a way, we are, that we're focusing on the next move, or we're focusing on the needs. Like, we're not asking for, Roberts playing halfback, or we're not asking. Well, Blakey would be handy, but we don't need him.
Yeah,
we need Haywood. I know Florence more of that. I think it'd be the initial deal is Haywood in the picks and then Florence on top. That's just what it is at the moment. That's what I look at it is. People go, why are we getting Florence? I just think he's on top. and you take a player who's played over 100 and a bit games, he's a life member of the Swans, who's had a bit of an out of favour season. So maybe he goes, fuck it. Maybe this is the time. Maybe I'm forced to move. He didn't really want to go, did he? He didn't really want to go. And then maybe he's thinking the light bulb moment going, maybe they're going to force me to move. So I just got to go. But yeah, it's my mind is just cooked at the moment with this whole situation, because I think we're reactive in a sense, but I think we had to be. And had to get the things we needed.
Yeah. No, I do agree. I see proactive from a Carlton sense. I don't see proactive from a Curnow sense.
No.
I really don't. I feel like this is just something that we just have to accept because Curnow wants out. That's reactive. That's not proactive. If we're getting Gordon, that's proactive. But we haven't asked the question. We've never asked the question. So
that's a big thing as well. I'd imagine they would have. They asked the question of Geelong with Holmes, Dempsey, and Sullivan that came out today. So that gave me a bit of confidence that they've set the benchmark pretty high and then met in the middle, I guess. So yeah, that would have been nice to get Max Holmes, but we moved Patter. But it's good they asked the question because they knew they were going to get a no. But you got to set the bar high. Sydney go here, and then you just meet in the middle. That's just, it seems to how it works.
Yeah, but then that's where I'm thinking where it's like we've started at the top, but we have dropped down. So it's like, I don't want to go on too much longer because I'm sure there will be even more news tomorrow when we do our episode on Thursday morning that we can touch on, and we can probably touch on this for a little bit longer. But it's just crazy stuff to have. I think I do agree where it's like we just want this over. I just want to know if he's at the club or not next year, and we just move on from there.
Yep.
But last thoughts on this. there is a bit of anger about me because I'm just like, I just want to fucking know.
Yeah, are you a fucking Sydney player? Or it was like the TDK situation.
Yeah,
are you staying or are you going? Because we will move on and we'll open arms with Hayward and Florent. They're our players now, and we'll have to accept it. But now we don't know.
Last thoughts, Staffy Boyd. What are your thoughts?
It's a situation I'm happy that's going to be concluded in the next. Well, it'd be under 23 hours by now, 23 and a half hours from the official deadline. So, I think there'll be something in the works with, I know people are going, Karma's deal won't go. They'll go through. I'm confident that goes through. You don't often see a player. I know Leika Lear did it and he didn't get the deal done, but St Kilda are wankers. So, Buku Karmas will be at Carlton. Something will work out, and we'll have 3 new players by tomorrow, which is, I think, exciting. I think we've had a pretty busy trade period, considering of where we probably thought how busy we were going to be, Pat. I don't think we thought we were going to be this busy.
Well said. So just for the people that's watching right now, we won't be able to do the episode tomorrow night, but because it is the last day of trade period, we're going to do it Thursday morning at this stage and upload it some time on Thursday. And that means that we can have a little bit more time to really explore if there is anything else to explore, Daffy Boy. With tomorrow's last deadline trade day, which usually they put, as I've said, they do about 80 trades within about 30 minutes in the last day. So to every single boy bagger out there, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe on this YouTube channel, but also get around our social platforms so you don't miss a thing. But to you, Daffy Boy, into every single blue bagger out there.